Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for coming. I think the first thing I would like to invite anyone here who would like to tell us why you came here. I think that we came here first of all to say no war with Russia.
Yes.
No war with Russia.
No war with China. No World War III.
Yes.
We have a shopping list to our representative, to our government. I think that we are facing, our government is involved in a scam. Our government is taking trillions of dollars of taxpayer money to sell weapons, to start wars everywhere, instead of investing in our community, instead of putting money to eradicate poverty.
Right.
Right?
Yes.
We are asking our government to use our money, taxpayer money, for healthcare, not warfare.
Yep.
For childcare, not warfare.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
To cancel student debt.
Yes.
Elder care, not warfare.
Yes.
We also asking our government to abolish NATO.
Abolish NATO.
NATO is some sort of a network which is organized to facilitate the sales of weapons by the military-industrial complex.
Indeed.
Now look what happened in Ukraine. Our government is involved in a coup in 2014. Some parts of Ukraine support the coup, including fascist elements. Some parts who are Russians do not accept the coup, and they are declare autonomy.
Yep.
Yeah?
Yes.
Then what do we do then? Since 2014, US taxpayer paid $2.5 billion in military aid, transferring weapons from the United States to Ukraine. Yes?
Yeah.
This doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense that we use our resources for these purposes. So that is why I'm here. I'm here to say no war with Russia. I say disband NATO. I say negotiate based on the Minsk Accord. Yes? Remove military advisors. Biden administration now would like to increase the aid by $500 million. They are stealing money for us, for heaven's sakes.
That's right, it's stealing.
Yes, they are stealing money for us. And we are demanding to stop this. So, I invite anybody who would like to share with us why you came here today. Before we hear some singing from our famous grannies chorus. Yes? So, anybody would like to share with us your thoughts while we are here, please. No? You will? Here you go.
So I just want to say a couple of things in support of my participation in this action. I heard Mr. Wilkerson, who was Chief of Staff to former Secretary of State Colin Powell, speak. It was on a Code Pink Zoom event, and he said, quite frankly, that yes, the military-industrial complex, those people who produce all those weapons in the United States for sale, they very much are a pressure group. They were very much a pressure group for the United States expanding NATO eastward. And if you look at a map of that area of the world, you see that actually Ukraine is a big country that borders Russia, a long border, and you can certainly see why Russia would not want U.S. Military action or any kind of military presence first-hand or second-hand through, you know, secondary groups that the United States helps arm Ukraine. I mean, do you remember the Cuban Missile Crisis? Who here knows about the Cuban Missile Crisis? Okay, so we all remember that the United States did not like Russia putting weapons, nuclear armaments in Cuba, missiles in Cuba, I guess they were. And we threatened war. We almost had World War III over that issue. So what are we doing threatening to get into Russia's backyard in Ukraine? That's just ridiculous. So, okay, that's all I want to say right now. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes.
Oh,
Okay.
can you hold this for me?
By the way, if you come to say a few words, it might be a good idea to introduce yourself. My name is Yoav Elinevsky, and I'm so glad to see everybody here, my friends, my community. Thank you for coming.
You hold it for me?
Yes.
Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Hi. My name is Susan Triolo, and I'm going to tell you about the moral budget versus the war budget. What can we do? We can reduce poverty and economic insecurity, or we can prioritize military force over diplomacy. What will it cost? For the Build Back Better, $170 billion a year. What will it cost for the National Defense Act? $778 billion. So where do we want that money to go?
Build back better.
Yeah.
Build back better, reduce poverty,
Yeah.
reduce economic security. How will we pay for Build Back Better? Paid for by making the rich and big corporations pay a fair share of taxes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pentagon.
How are we going to pay for the military defense out of your pocket and mine and all of the low-income people in this country?
That's right.
Who will benefit most from Build Back Better? 61 million children will continue to receive the child tax credit. 18 million workers who will have paid family and medical leave. Do we need that?
Yes.
17 million low-wage workers who will continue to receive the expanded EITC. I don't know what that is. 6 million children who will benefit from universal pre-K.
Yes.
How many children do we have that need that?
Yes.
So many children.
Right.
800,000 elderly and disabled people who are on Medicaid on a waiting list for home health care. Or we can give all of that money to the military contractors.
That's right.
Boo!
No.
And who will be harmed the most? No one, including the mega millionaires and billionaires, will barely feel their higher tax bill. Thank you.
Thank you. I think it is also amazing that after 20 years long war in Afghanistan and wasting trillions of dollars, costing the lives of hundreds of thousands of people and millions of refugees, the government is trying to shove another war in our throats. Unacceptable. We don't want it. We don't want another war. It's unbelievable that they are thinking about it. Yes. Emily, you want to come? Here you go.
Okay. Just talk over here. I'm Emily from Greenfield, Massachusetts, and I work with Yoav and all these wonderful people here. I just want us to think about the 800 bases that the U.S. has, and the closest that any country has of bases outside their country is 7. And we have 800, and many of those bases are around Ukraine. Many of those bases are on the other borders of Russia, and a lot of the bases are now being set up around China. And China is not our enemy. So the U.S. is just looking for ways to start a war. And if they can't get it going in Ukraine, believe me, they'll turn to China. So I hope we will talk to everybody we know about no need for 800 bases that are costing millions and probably billions. I don't have the figure. To keep up the employees, the military staff that are there, everybody. So talk about it. 800 bases. We could take care of all the social problems in our country with that 800 bases.
Thank you, Emily. Anybody else would like to share with us your thinking about, I mean, it's amazing. The situation is very dangerous. The border between Russia and Ukraine is about 1,000 miles. There are hundreds of thousands of troops there on both sides. There are US military advisors along the border. It is extremely dangerous. Yes, thank you.
Hi, I'm Pocky Whelan with Code Pink and the Raging Grannies. It's really great. It's amazing to see how many of you are here on such short notice. And the one thing that I'm here to say to our congressman, who often is on the right side, he did not sign the Meeks letter to rush us into war. But he has not said no to what? He has not said no to sanctions. Right. And sanctions, as we all know, don't really hurt the people in power. Right. They hurt the people. Right. You know, when Susan was talking about what we could do with the money, if we look at who gets hurt when the way we're spending money, it's totally outrageous. And many of you have probably seen either Democracy Now! Or somewhere that the Raytheon and other weapons companies are bragging, absolutely bragging, about the money they're making now because of this threat of war. This is not the kind of world we want to live in. No. So we're here saying to our congressman, no sanctions, and obviously we'll support him in his saying no war. I just want to end with one hopeful thing, really for us to think out of the box for a moment. For once, NATO is being challenged, and this is a possibility. I mean, NATO is so obsolete, and this is our opportunity to keep punctuating how stupid NATO is.
What should we do instead?
What should we do instead? Well, all the things Susan Triolo said we could do with Build Back Better. We could pay attention to the Poor People's Campaign and their leadership. But certainly, everywhere we can find the cracks to do something to end NATO, I think we need to work on that. It's going to be a long haul, obviously, because as Yoav so brilliantly pointed out, it's such a racket, isn't it? You know, you've got the U.S. giving billions and now millions more to Ukraine to do what? To come back and buy weapons from the U.S. weapons manufacturers.
Exactly.
What do they think we are?
It is.
And so how do we show them that we're not? We keep standing up, we write letters, we join together, and we fight. And we will win. Remember, in the end we will win. And if we haven't won yet, it's not the end.
Thank you, Patsy. Thank you. Here you go, my friend. Introduce yourself, please. Thanks.
My name is Stan Aaron. I just want to mention one thing, and that is that with all this going on, the problems that they're having in the Donetsk region and Soviet troops on their side of the border. Nobody, I mean, it's important to know that James Baker, who was high up in one of the presidential administrations, I don't know which one exactly, maybe somebody could tell me, but in 1990, he promised Gorbachev that if they take the Berlin Wall down, we would not move 1 inch eastward.
That's right.
Now just think about that. Think about that broken promise. Latvia, Lithuania, Estonia, Eastern Europe, Poland, all these countries. Now this idiot from England that is the leader there, Boris Johnson, he goes in, he's having a conference with the president of the Ukraine, Zelensky, who was to the left of him.
Right.
And that's hard to be for anybody that's a leader in the Ukraine. But anyway, that's a very important bit of, I'll say, propaganda, because it's the real truth. And young people, and I don't hear that in the media by anybody, not the liberals on CNN, not MSNBC. Nobody talks about that broken promise.
Right.
Just the same as they don't talk about the promises made to the Native Americans and everybody else.
That's right. Thank you, Stan. Thank you, Stan. Thank you, Stan. Anybody else? Maybe we can take music break? You want to say something more?
Yeah. So my name is Kristen Hedges. I'm from South Hadley. Just to add what the gentleman was saying about the broken promises, George Keenan, I've been doing a little reading. George Keenan, who is by some known as the intellectual father of the Soviet containment policy that the United States enacted during the Cold War. He is on record as saying that expanding NATO would be a really bad idea. And when it started happening, he said that it's the worst policy decision made since the end of the Cold War. And he talked about the fact that expanding NATO to the east in these former Soviet bloc countries would bring out the militarists in the Soviet Union. It would strengthen the anti-Western groups, and that's just and could possibly start a new Cold War. Well, that's what we're seeing.
That's right. Thank you. Thank you. Music? Okay, everybody is dying to hear some of your beautiful singing. So please.
Don't die!
Yeah, I'm going to try that.
We're the raging grannies, and we're here to take a stand against the census-killing raging in Afghanistan.
Absolutely right.
I meant to say it was taken in the military.
Every land
That's what
we
you said.
sing to end all war. No more military action. We declare dissatisfaction with greedy politicians who make war with bombs and guns. We rage to end all war. They tell us to be quiet and they throw us into jail. But though we're old, we're feisty and we're anything but frail. With songs for peace and justice, now our message will prevail. We rage to end all war. All our time to destroy, exploit, and kill. We rage to end all war. Our president is sending drones to kill millions, and all of us must do our best to stop it if we can. How many more must die to carry out this bloody plan? We songs and voices strong will rage with all our might until we end all war.
Bravo!
Okay, you can hold this.
Okay. Ramona, you want to say a few words?
Yes.
Ramona Celis, working with me to organize these peace rallies. Thank you, Ramona, for your help. And here is the microphone.
Hi, thanks everyone for showing up. I am Ramona. I'm a member of the Party for Socialism and Liberation. I'm also a member of the Anti-Imperialist Coordinating Committee. Anti-Imperialist Action Committee, I'm sorry. It's great to be out here with all of you. I won't say much else that other people haven't said, but what I like to say is just look around us. We live in a country where homelessness thrives on every corner, where people can't access medicine, where people are poor, they can't afford the basic necessities of life. All of this comes in the same hand as the military-industrial complex that upholds the system that keeps all of this in place. We call for an abolition of NATO. We call for end of all U.S. imperialist actions around the world. We say no war with Russia, because war will only bring death. It will only suck money out of the very coffers that we need of the people here in the United States. It'll suck out all the money from taxpayers, from people who need it the most, right? Hundreds of billions of dollars go to fund these wars, go to fund these tanks, these bombs, uphold these sanctions, when they could go to ending homelessness, giving people reparations for hundreds of years of slavery, for medicine, for the end of capitalism. All of this can go to those ends. So this is all we call for. Thanks for coming out, everyone.
Thank you, Ramona. Brother, you want to say a few words? Come. Here you go, man. Please introduce yourself.
Thank you, everyone.
No, just that question already.
My name is Untitled. I'm a member of the Green Party of Massachusetts. Also member of the Peace and Justice Team on First Churches. A proud member of the LRCW, and also Western Mass Latin America Solidarity for Palestine. But also, first of all, I don't know, I just got here, but if we can stand 1 minute of silence for our dear departed martyr in heroin, Mary Nathan. Please, everybody, let's remember her for 1 minute. Thank you so much. Dr. Mary Nathan was very special to us. And many of us are here because she's the one that started many of these groups. So thank you. Thank you to you. Thank you to everybody that's here. And the conference that spoke just a few minutes about Abolition of Nato. But there's something else that's in my mind. And I think we need to abolish the IMF. The International Monetary Fund that's destroying the economy, not only from Ecuador, but also Argentina, Peru, Colombia, and giving money to these warmongers. We need to write our people, our legislators, and said that IMF is nothing but money for the rich.
That's right.
And last thing I want for you to consider is that they try to suppress the teaching of the real history of the United States, of slavery, they try to about the Holocaust. As you all know, they're trying to abolish education and books. They're trying to take them out of libraries because they don't want them to know the real history of the United States. They don't want to know that the United States was involved in so many wars. So they're going to start taking books away for LGBTQ rights, for slavery, for the Holocaust. Then maybe we're going to start taking about wars. They don't teach kids about what happened in Grenada. They don't teach kids about what real wars of Iraq and Afghanistan. So we got to fight and tell those mothers for profit and those mothers for liberty that we are not with them. We are here for democracy, and we're going to teach our children the real truth. Thank you, brothers and sisters. Thank you, Congress. Love you all. Stay safe.
Thank you, Manny, for reminding us. This is the first standout that we have next to McGovern office without our leader, our friend, our dear friend, Marty Nathan. Marty Nathan, presente! Presente! Marty Nathan, presente! The last time we were here with Marty, we were protesting the arrest of Julian Assange. And it's another amazing, terrible story that we're witnessing here with Julian Assange. Anybody else would like to share your thought with us? Yes, Susan, please.
How does this thing work?
Just talk there.
Okay. Hi, Susan Triolo from Sunderland, and some of you know that I'm the head of the Sunderland Democrats. A lot of you may not care about the Democratic Party, but 2022 is coming up. Find the candidates that you like across the country, give them money, give money to Stacey Abrams, Movement Voter Project. These are groups that give money to grassroots groups that are on the ground who know who the candidates are that need to run. 2022 is really important. 2024 is beyond important. So get involved as you can, give money as you can, make phone calls, postcards, whatever you can do. Manny talked about our democracy. It is in danger. We are in danger in this country. We are on the brink of war in this country, and we need to do all that we can do.
Thank you, Susan. I would like to thank all the organization, the local organization that supported this rally. I would like to thank Massachusetts Peace Action, Western Mass Regional Chapter of the Green Rainbow Party, Peace and Justice team from the First Churches of Northampton, the Anti-Imperialist Action Committee, Western Mass Code Pink, Party for Socialism and Liberation, and the Latin America Solidarity Coalition of Western Massachusetts. So thank you everybody for... Definitely, we are dying for another song, please. Thank you.
We don't want you to die.
Oh no, I'm happy when you sing.
When we find ourselves ensnared in conflict, round the world we don't need, there's a simple answer, let it be. We send our drones and bombs and warplanes to impose democracy. Will we ever learn to let them be? Let them be, let them be, let them be, let them be. Stop invading countries, let them be. Since when did most of those in power care about democracy? They just care for plunder and for greed. But if we care about the people living in such poverty, we must end all sanctions. Let them be, let them be, let them be, let them be. Hands off Venezuela, let them be, let them be, let them be, let them be, let them be. Hands off Venezuela, let them be.
Great, thank you, thank you. What are we going to do without you?
Bring your papers.
Could we hear one more song from the Raging Grannies, if they have one?
Another song?
We all know it.
We're a gang of grannies, urging you off of your fannies. We're telling you now, we're angry and now, no more war. With all that government spending to fight wars that are unending, the country is broke. This isn't a joke. No more. So join this gaggle of grannies. Get up off of your fannies. We won't tolerate racism and hate. Demonstrate. We really need